welcome to Driven for Health, episode 108. I was on Go Out Living podcast with Jonathan Brandt, and I wanted to share the conversation that we had. I felt that it would be really resonate with my audience. So here we go. I'm going to send it right into our episode. Enjoy. In the comments, post what your biggest takeaways are from this episode.
Hi, everyone. Jonathan Brandt, Go Out Living. We have a special guest today. We have Brian Piranha. Welcome, Brian.
Hey, Jonathan. Thanks so much for having me today.
Yeah, excited to have you. So Brian is a health coach for over 20 years, worked with everywhere from Olympians to a businessman over 40 is really what you're working on now. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little background into you and how you got into health coaching?
This song, this tune, you'll know it immediately. Right? It's Rocky.
That's right.
Those training montages totally got me hooked. And I was born in 82. So like the 80s, 90s is Rocky mania, right? And I would watch him and get so excited about the training and all, and that stuck with me. Even now to the ripe young age, I want to say I'm young at 43. I'm a 25-year-old mind in a 43-year-old body is kind of how it's starting to look these days.
I think we all can relate.
Since then, at the beginning, I was drawn to athletics, drawn to move my body, drawn to training. I really just fell in love with it. That ended up landing me into cross country and track in high school with one of my best friends still. I literally saw him yesterday, Dan. I've known this guy since middle school. He's got 4 kids. I've got 4 kids. We're busy, and that's how we bond. We connect through physical exercise because what else are you going to do? Hey, Dan, let's go out to the bar. Or let's just go sit and watch basketball games all the time or something. Like, I guess, I mean, we can watch basketball if we wanted while we work out. But that's been a super easy way for us to connect for literally 15 years that he's been coming over. He got me into track running, which led into ultimately running in college, marathons. I had the fortune of running Boston. Then I transitioned and I probably ran a dozen at that point too. I got into triathlons, which then led into CrossFit. And then now in my 40s, I do basic strength training with some cardio. And occasionally I'll do a Metcon, they call metabolic conditioning, a CrossFit style workout here and there as well. But it's been an undertone of my whole life and it's my identity. I'm an active, healthy, fit person.
And you want to relate to that to those that aren't, correct? You want to try and bring that strength that you found in fitness to those that are struggling.
Yeah. Mother Nature's best remedy to feeling sad, feeling down, depressed, lonely, any of those type of adjectives or verbs is movement, right? Go out, get some sunshine, breathe some air, get your blood circulating, you get the endorphins going. And if I can attach someone to a positive outcome of exercise, that they get that connection going where, hey, I move my body, I feel better. I want to keep doing this. And we don't need to be marathoning. We don't need to, I always joke with people, I don't need to, I'm not going to send you for the marathon training program. And we're not doing Arnold's 8-day-a-week exercise program either, right? That's something you enjoy. We're going to start there. And oftentimes it's just getting people to go walk more. Literally, can I get you to get 10K a day? Because you're getting 3 to 4 or 5,000 steps. Here's a really quick one, Jonathan. You're moving 5,000 steps and I like 10,000. It's just it's a good number that we've always heard. I think that defines an active lifestyle, right? Through whether you're working out or not, but you're just active and you're moving around. 5,000 less a day, 35,000 less steps in a week, 140,000 less steps in a month. That's over 2 million steps in a year. That's a lot of steps that you're not moving just through parking farther away, taking the stairs, like walk your dog another time of the day. Spend time with your partner, your spouse, your friends, being active, not just sitting around food and a screen and stress eating. Something like that. And so there's a really positive instant connection that you will literally feel better and be healthier as you start moving.
So what do you think triggers the moment that somebody knows they need to get help or that they need to get in shape. What is that one trigger that really is catching people?
In my world, I meet people who are ready to change. They're not fumbling around. I got to wait on it, think about it. They have decided now's the time for a change. And that can run from any large gamut of things, from my clothes don't fit. I saw a picture of myself from the wedding I went to last week, and wow, I didn't recognize who was standing next to my wife. To the doctor just said, I have type 2 diabetes. I've got high cholesterol. Here comes medicine for blood pressure. The scale hits a certain number. The clothing hits a certain letter. I walked upstairs and I can't breathe anymore. My son, this has literally happened. My son challenged me to run a marathon this year, and Brian is ready to go. His body is just trying to keep on. But so that was a challenge in a sense that he put on me. There's so many different ways. Someone else passed away. Someone else got sick. The list can go on. You just decide, wow, I woke up and I had enough. It literally could just be that. It's like, I've been living sick and tired of being sick and tired. I have to change. So there's a multitude of reasons why people change, but the point being is that they have to decide now's the time. It can't be a New Year's resolution thing or something like that. It has to be a decision, and decisions can be like this. We don't need how many days does it take to form a habit, Jonathan?
Good question. It's over 30. I know that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. 21, 30,
There,
45, 60 days. We could
yeah.
put any number on it. But here's a really stark example. You've been smoking for 20 years, going to your lung doctor, and they say you have lung cancer. If you have a decision, am I going to stop cold turkey? I'm going to just live it out and have a good time and see how long it lasts, or I'm going to go back and forth on that. Well, I'm going to start counting how many days I'm not a non-smoker and then have a relapse or something. Right? There's three different ways past that we can from that point in time. But you literally could say, I'm done smoking, and boom, there you go. You're a non-smoker now. Instantly, you can change habits because you're a human being and you have power over your decisions, and you can make decisions that you can follow through on. But again, it's
So,
important to make that decision.
okay, habits slash behaviors. Is that really the first place you have to start?
Totally. I always want to know why someone wants to change. That's the coach in me. That's who's so much exposure working with people. Sure, Jonathan, it's great that you want to have abs at the beach this summer, but why? Is it just for yourself, your own vanity? That's cool. Me too. I want to look good at the beach. Is it to get the attention of other people? Is it that you have identified that as being a male identification, an attachment that is a sign of health? And if I have a 6-pack ab, or at least a 4-pack, that I am at some of my best shape that it can be in, because I grew up through the era of action figures and GI Joes for when I was playing, it was X-Men and superheroes, and they always were right the
Yep.
superhero model. And so you have identified that in your head as being the look, the feel to have pinnacle or peak health and wellness. So why? It always goes back to the why.
Well, and that leads me to actually, I had a couple things with that. One, for that self look or whatever you want to say, that triggers us to want, okay, in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, this is what I want to look at. We're not looking at it in a long term as a healthy lifestyle situation, which people fail, correct?
Yeah. I'm always going to come from the aspect of long-term sustainable lifestyle, right? Because that's my job. You as the person listening, you start here at A and you want to get to Z. I know you want to get to Z, and I understand why or how and when and all the things, because I've asked you questions and got to know you. Because any coaching experience that I have with any of my clients is an interactive experience the whole time, where we have a relationship that we work through and build and work through challenges and overcome obstacles. And because that's what it is regardless. And my job is just to get you to point B. And that's what I'm even in generally sell them what they want, but give them what they need is all the coaching and the sales and the marketing and all that stuff that I've always heard. And I truly believe, yes, You want to get to six pack abs, or you want to get to being able to run a marathon, or whatever it is. But ultimately, it's long term health. I want to stay in a 5 pound weight range the rest of my life, and not have to be worried about disease. Not to have to worry about what I need to eat today. Not to worry about if I'm going to make it to the gym or not, or how many days haven't I not done it. Like, that's not, it's the lifestyle. But I just need to get you to point two. It might be a 30-day chunk of time, or 90 days, or 6 months that we focus on, because humans can only see so far ahead of them. And if you get too far ahead, if I said, hey, we're going to develop these habits and behaviors, and it's going to take, for someone, it might take a year. For someone, it might take 6 months. For someone, it might take 6 weeks. And neither of us necessarily know that. Certainly the drive and ambition and motivation and the person themselves will shape that experience. And some people, they just need more. Henry, I had worked with a gentleman. He was juggling school and a bunch of different things else, but school is super important to him. Every week for years, 1 pound a week, 1 pound a week, 1 pound a week. Who am I to say that that's not an appropriate level of success for him? Right? He's juggling all these things, and he kept showing up consistent, losing a pound. He lost over 100 pounds. He lost 110 pounds, and he felt significantly different over that time frame. Whereas maybe Henry 2.0 version, he might have been able to do it in half the time, or 3/4 of the time. Those are more realistic. It's not going to be a third or fourth of the time. That's not realistic to lose that much weight. So for Henry, I my job as a coach is to align with the person and what they deem as successful, and then help them go through the process to create those outcomes, and understand that they can only control the things that they can control. Everybody wants to lose weight, or get rid of diabetes, or get off the cholesterol medications, the blood pressure medications, get rid of cancer, all these challenges that humans experience. They want to get rid of that. And yes, we do want that, but the first step isn't going to go from here to there. We need to be, okay, what's the next best thing that this person can do for themselves to put them in a better position and situation? So getting from A to getting to Z, and be able to maintain Z as our running analogy, that might be thousands of micro decisions in the next foreseeable future that move them toward that outcome. And that's the only thing that they have control over, not whatever happens for, say, scale weight. We can control how much food we put in our mouth, how much we move, how much we sleep, how we handle stress, how we manage our time, all those type of things, but we can't control what the scale is or isn't going to say. And that's something that's really
We
important.
control the behavior aspect of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, okay, you got the 6-pack abs, you're just looking great. You're the Hulk. But the blood work doesn't say that. In my experience as well, we find out later. We find out in some circumstances too late. How do we, okay, you're dealing with people 40 plus that, okay, visually, they know something's wrong. How do you get them to that step of, hey, let's check your blood, let's check what's underneath, because that's as important as the outer, if not more important.
Right. Regardless if it's the younger, well, I've had some young 20-year-olds dealing with diabetes or cholesterol issues, and it been a big challenge. Drake, he was 280 pounds, had raging high blood pressure. So much so the doctor said, "You're going on meds now." He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! I really want to change this." And I got the guy to lose 80 some pounds. He quit his job. He was doing six figure, like 200 quarter million a year in his job because of the responsibilities, but it was killing him. It literally was. So it sounded great on paper, but it was killing him. And we quit that through prompting, through asking questions, through getting him to think about what's important to him. He sold off his Mustang GT Shelby that he was rolling around in, and he's like, I'm an F-150 guy. Why am I in this car? And man, within a week, he sold that Sportster and got the truck. And man, the next time I talked to him, he's so much more himself. He was in his own identity. Now, getting someone to transition from that is, regardless of if you're Hulk. I don't usually encounter Hulks. They're just like six pack abs. Most of the guys that I ever work with are just, they just want to be around for their kids, their grandkids. They don't want to spend all this hard-earned money on assisted living and medicine and insurance when they get older. I definitely don't want to do that. I'm working pretty hard over here. So are you. I'm putting in long days. And when I'm hit 60 or 70, I don't want it to all go away because I can't care for myself because of my health. And having regular blood panels is important, especially the older that we get. And a visible sign that things are not all right are the way you look, the way you feel, the body weight, your day-to-day activities, your food habits and behaviors will often precede the a bad blood marker, the A1C, the triglycerides, the all those things. So, but it is important to start making sure you're doing that at least somewhat consistently, to have that active conversation with your doctor about what your blood panels are, and urging people to do that if they haven't done it in a long time is really important so that we can start seeing some underlying situations and issues. I remembered the whole thing I wanted to say was, I remember now, it's reactive. Humans are reactive, not proactive. So many times we're reactive to the situation rather than being proactive. Just doing the basics, eating whole foods, moving your body, drinking water, getting adequate sleep. That will keep you out of doctor's office for a very long time, but we get lost in the busyness of the world, the convenience, capitalism, consumerism, all these things that occupy our attention that cause us to not do those basic things. And we get unwell as further we get in age.
Realistically, we're not preventative in any way. And I'm a perfect example of that. I thought I was fine, but I look back and my behaviors were horrible. They really were, drinking, smoking, but okay, I work out 2 hours a day. So that takes care of that.
Right.
That's not how it works. Let's talk about nutrition. How does that enter into the overall health and wellness of your clients?
Yeah, that is a huge percentage of what I cover with anyone. In my experience, no one really understands nutrition to the level of degree that they need to for their particular lifestyle. Okay. It's not that they don't know what is healthy or not, or what they should or shouldn't be eating. It's so many people say, I know what to do. I'm not doing it, Brian. Well, that's my job. Make sure that we actually know what we need to do and then follow through with it. That age old saying, you are what you eat. Literally, if you're eating fast food, you're going to be a walking heart attack soon enough. Right? If you
Right.
eat whole food, chances are we can push some of those off and overcome some of the challenges. Even if you have a genetic background with family history, you might be able to beat some of those odds or push them off longer and keep that heart attack from happening in your 40s or 50s and push it out till 70. You're still going to have a heart attack. It's just your quality of life from 40 to 70 is going to be significantly better. You can spend more time, energy, effort toward the things that you actually want to experience in our life, and not just riddled with poor health and the consequences of more money, more time, more energy and effort to solve the problems of the heart attack created. And it's not ideal. Going back to nutrition, it top down. Most importantly, we have to eat whole foods, right? This isn't shocker, right? We can have tasty things with sugar in packages occasionally, but we have to act responsibly. So whole foods first. Number two is calories. You have to have some level of calorie awareness. There is such a thing as calorie toxicity. That's how it was phrased by a mentor and someone that I look up to in my space. But Lane Norton was his name. It's his name. Calorie toxicity is just you over consuming calories and you getting fat and unwell as a result of it, right? Totally makes sense. But that if we phrase it that way, instead of just being overeating, calorie toxicity creates a little bit more, what is he saying here? And maybe I should be a little more concerned about how much I eat in terms of calories. Even if you ate unwell or unhealthy in quotations, but you kept your calories in check, you inherently are going to be healthier than someone that eats the same way, but overeats and consumes that stuff more and gains weight and then attracts those unhealthy chronic illnesses faster as a result. So calories are number two. And the basic structure that I have my clients work, that is, we're game busters for 2 decades now. We think of this two-step question. Where's my protein? Where's my fiber? If I can find lean protein and I can find fibrous foods, primarily vegetables, some fruit, a little bit of starch, and healthy fats that have that in it, then I will be eating healthier on a lot more food volume. People, you can eat significant amounts of food. I literally have people that say, Brian, I cannot eat all the calories you want me to eat because it's so filling. Why? Because we pick higher quality, lower volume food that works for our favor of weight maintenance or weight loss and just overall better health. So we want to think of that. So protein, fibrous foods. We want to be conscious of your carbs because they're everywhere. They're always, right? We want to limit fat. If you ever tracked your calories, you don't have to track calories to be successful with this, but you need to be calorie aware. But when you track your calories, fat disappears. All of a sudden, it's like, whoa, I'm almost at my fat limit for the day. Where did this all come from? And a lot of food has fat in it, especially if it's in a box or a package. Whole foods, fruits, vegetables, starchy carbs do not have fat. Fatty meats have fat. Lean meats don't really. They do have fat, but not as much. And then healthy fats we want to eat, and we want to stay away from excessive amounts of oils and such. And the last thing being is the eliminate simple sugars. I call this the simple six. We have to, calories are first, protein, then fiber, limit fats, and eliminate simple sugars. And when we eat like that, then ta-da, you can manage your health and your body weight a lot and your day-to-day energy significantly better without trying too hard.
So, sounds easy.
Simple is easy, easy to get done, but what gets in the way? It's simple, but it's not easy because of life.
It's not easy because what's in the grocery store, correct?
Totally.
I mean, I laughed at the fiber thing.
Yeah.
And the more I look into the, eat whole breads, all that, the problem is most of it's stripped down where you're not actually getting the nutrients. And people don't know that. So how do you figure that stuff out? Because that's the big question. So again, I was 60 pounds overweight a little over a year ago. I did some blood work. They came back. And one thing that stuck with me, they said, get fiber. And I'm sitting there going, what? Honestly, okay, that makes sense. But what am I missing here in my life? How am I missing this? Well, turns out I completely missed it. I added actually psyllium husk powder to a shake. And guess what? I've lost 60 pounds. I have not changed a whole lot of my diet other than that. That's how significant this can be on a nutrition level, because we talk about simple, but it's not that simple unless you do it right.
Fiber comes in 2 to 3 grams in a serving or a cup or a piece of fruit most of the time. There are outliers. Avocado has 16 grams of fiber. Berries have, like blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, can have 6 to 8 grams of fiber. Then it starts working its way down. But the average food that you're going to eat is between 2 to 3 grams in a cup or serving for the calories that it has. And then there are some that don't have fiber. Rice doesn't really have fiber. Even if it is brown rice, it might have 1 gram. It's not relevant. That's not where you're getting your fiber needs from. So people, you don't have to eat brown rice over white rice just because you're trying to get more fiber, or you think it's healthier or something. You're stuck in the 90s. They literally basically have the same nutrition label. And once you realize that white rice basically equals brown rice, and overall issue that we need to do is practice portion control, then you're like, oh, I can eat any color rice. I just have to make sure I don't eat too much of it. Exactly. Going back to the fiber, though, we're not trying to get fiber from lots of starchy carbs unless we're eating lots of beans and lentils. And then you know what that old song says: the more you eat, the more you toot, the more you toot, the better you eat beans for every meal, right? My kids say that. They're definitely in that age, 16 to 10. So fart jokes are still always hilarious in our house right now.
Love it. Absolutely love it. But it is difficult though, isn't it, when you go to the store, because it's something will say healthy and it's really not even close.
Exactly.
You feel like us that we're kind of figuring that out, with, I'm going to bring it up, the new food pyramid.
Yeah.
I don't get why it's so politicized. It shouldn't be, because to me, and I did a little podcast on it.
Me too.
we screwed up for the last 50 years on the old one, whether you followed it or not.
Yeah,
So,
right. Well, even if you did follow it, if people actually followed it, they would have been inherently healthier than they are now. It's the
right.
problem is that it's the consistent and adherence to something, and people don't do that. Why? Because of money, because of power, because of consumerism, capitalism, lobbyists. You and I definitely know this. How long, how many years has Tony the Tiger been saying, great frosted flakes are when they
Yeah.
are literally void of fiber and it's just sugar with carbohydrates, a simple carbohydrate. And we've been told that and we've been marketed to, and it gets put in front of us because it sells, because it's addictive to humans. And we are ultimately digging our own grave in a sense when it comes to health and food and quality of food. Like, there's a lot of things that we could definitely do better as a society that, say, charges more for sugary processed foods that are colorful and, say, healthy on the front versus subsidize and create cheaper produce. Everyone should be able to get a pepper. Why am I paying 3 times more for colored peppers over a green pepper at the grocery store? It
Yeah.
should not be that way, but it is. Like, why it just, and also just to throw this out there, it's not, yes, in a sense, it is in quotations potentially more costly or expensive to eat healthy. But when we look, it is a big but, like you got the badonkadonk behind you. But when we look at consumerism and behaviors around food and the advent of DoorDash and all and eating out and all this stuff, you're actually paying a lot more in time and money and potential future illness than it's worth to just buy healthier food now. So going back to all this is I get my clients to get into the weeds, to dig in the dirt, to learn. I make them go through the process. A good example this morning, someone messaged me, is granola okay? That's the question. That was the text that I got. I engage in text with my clients all the time. Okay. Do you have a nutrition label? So I'm making this person actively get the information for me so that she learns the process of understanding why this is or is not a good food source. So she then sent me a label and she said it has a lot more fat in it than protein. Well, yes, I know that. You would know that too, right? It's granola is a high calorie, high fat, high carb, high sugar, low fiber, low protein, low filling food by the word, the name itself. If you synonymously, you should be thinking, the listener should think granola equals high calories. I need to portion control this, but that's not what we think. This tastes good. I should eat more. That's what we think because it says healthy on the front. It's a healthy snack. No, that's not what it is. So I'm making her do the math. Okay, how much of a percentage of fat is inside this container? There are 15 grams of fat. 15 times 9 is what, 141 calories. And say there's, I can't think off the top of my head, but say there's 170 total calories. That doesn't leave much of carbs and protein. That's primarily a fat source when you look at this granola, if that were to be the case. And then let's look at the portion control. Oh, it's only a quarter cup. Wait a minute here. Why in the world is 170 calories for a quarter cup ever deemed healthy? It's not. So I'm making this person, this client, do the work to understand what it is and why it is that I see granola this way so that she can see it her way. I am not telling her she should not eat it. I am telling her that she needs to make a better educated choice on if she's eating granola or not. And then also, even more importantly, the context of the day. If she absolutely loves this granola and she must have it for breakfast, and she eats a cup of it, which would be literally 400 calories, then that is going to define how the rest of the day looks. Meaning lunch and dinner are going to be primarily, for easiest example, a chicken salad. Lots of vegetables, lean protein, and that's what she's going to eat to consolidate for the goals that she wants to hit as terms of fat loss, but also enjoy the granola. So this goes with anywhere. It doesn't have to be granola. It could be pancakes. It could be cookies. It could be having more fruit than maybe you should. And I usually tell people to eat 1, 2, 3 pieces of fruit are fine. But I literally had a guy, he would eat a whole watermelon at one time. That's a 1,300 calories, man. That is not in the healthy bucket anymore. That is overeating
Right.
watermelon. And so it's all contextual. But if we learn what's on the label, what the context is of the portions and the calories and the impact that it has with protein, carbs, and fats, and then on your meal, but also your day, then we're putting pieces of the puzzle together that you're like, wow, I started a day, but now, because I got educated in the first 2 weeks, I'm already at G or H or I instead of on B or C trying to figure it out myself. And that's where you're getting help and support and the right guidance in this process is exponential for you to be successful.
You brought up a big word to me, education. It's lacking.
Huge.
I mean, if we think it right when you said it, I thought of my 17-year-old, my 19-year-old, compared to my 6-year-old. My 6-year-old sits there and goes, "Oh, daddy, there's too much sugar." Where the other two are going, "Yeah, get me a Monster, get me the chips and all
Give
that
me the
stuff."
XL size, right?
Yeah, how did we miss it so bad? I mean, and I know, like I said, this
Supersize
probably goes back
culture,
50.
right? Just even the difference between your age range there, the supersize culture, right?
Yeah.
Because the 19, they may have experienced that where bigger is better and it's cheaper and
Mhm.
it's delicious and it's why would you not supersize? And whereas we don't have that anymore, but when we should never have had it. It was not appropriate.
Right. Well, that goes back to TV dinners and the
Uh-huh.
microwavable stuff. I mean,
Right.
I had mentioned that all in the podcast. We started 50 years ago, at least, on the wrong track. And it starts with education too. You know, we got to get more of it in the schools. Go ahead.
With education, we think of even finances. At the end of the day, we're just on a calorie budget, just
Mm.
as we are on a financial monetary budget in the day. And humans are notorious for underestimating how much they eat or spend, over consuming, and not abiding by basics of financial law and rules and regulations and guidelines and food as well. If you have $100 to spend today, you can spend it however which way you want, as long as we end the day at 100. But humans like to charge 120 the card, and then I'm just gonna do 80 tomorrow. Well, that's not human behavior. And all of a sudden we start to accumulate this interest, this extra debt. And in the food world, that is the extra debt is showing up on your waistline, that's showing up on your bad blood panels, that is, and it takes a lot to pay off. We're not doing 30 pounds in 30 days, people. We're talking about 1 to 2 pounds a week is sustainable and maintainable. 3 is amazing, but 4 or more is overreaching. And then we go to your expectations. As long as they are in alignment with that, then we have a good experience. You're like, why am I not? When I did keto, I lost 8 pounds in a week. Well, you're coming to me heavier than you've ever been in your life with multiple health issues. You ran the wrong playbook, my friend. I'm really sorry, but you are in a worse condition but than before you started the keto in a sense. And so we go back to your credit card debt. It takes a while to pay that off. If you get into it, same thing with calorie debt on your waistline and losing weight. It takes longer than you want it to. And it's so much easier to get and overeat and overspend.
Right, exactly. Well, and okay, here's the other thing. Again, we know that crash diets don't work for long anyway. There's not sustainable. Pretty much everything out there. There's no 30, 60, 90 day. Okay, you get that quick fix. Great. Then what? The other side we don't seem to talk about with all of it, health, fitness, nutrition, whatever we're talking about, is the mental health side of it. And that might be a little, you know, that's a tough one because I feel like we don't talk about it.
I'm focusing a lot more on men these days because we don't talk about it. Aging from going back 50 years, dad never stopped at the gas station to ask for directions, right? It just was unheard of. Men don't ask for help. Men don't cry. Men don't show emotion. These things are bred into us for years of decades, generations, thousands of years. And we're starting to see some change now with mental health and men's focusing and being more open and aware and acknowledging things, but there's still a huge gap. And for a man to admit that he's wrong or in error or he needs to change his ways can be really challenging because of the societal norms that we have set up. And this goes for women too. And ultimately, our lives are way too busy for the human life in human design. And that in and of itself is a challenge because we are literally can't keep up with the lifestyle that we've created for ourselves. And I feel that pressure myself. And that's what I'm getting stuck in that rat race too. You look at all creatures living on the world, they have very significant rest cycles and then small amounts of activity. And we could have totally set that up in our culture. Like there used to be siestas. I don't know if they have siestas anymore because you got to make money and you got to pay your bills and you got to pay for the thing that you shouldn't have bought in a sense. So then you are stressed and you don't have time and then you make fast judgments and you don't have skill sets around how to cook or prepare or even grocery shop the right foods because you weren't educated or made aware that this thing that says it's healthy on it actually isn't that good for you. It's only healthy if you eat a quarter cup of it, but that they don't want you to eat a quarter cup. They want you to eat half the bag every time you go so you can go buy it again.
That's taking responsibility for yourself.
And a lot of people don't want to do that either.
No, that's the thing.
Easy.
We sit there and we can talk about all this in a simple manner, but we also know it is very complex.
That's huge.
How do we change all of this for everybody? How do we change it for those that are over 40 that have been doing it wrong for 40 years, from a nutrition, from a fitness, from the mental health side of it? How do we change it?
Number one is you have to be your own advocate. You know that, right? You experience that quite a bit. You have to advocate for yourself and you have to start to understand the situations that you are in to learn and understand and develop skill sets to be able to change the outcome. You control the things that you have control over to change the outcomes that you want. So that's the first step. Then, if enough of us get fed up, we can just stop buying the things in the crinkly wrappers. And then what happens? A massive shift in the way we do things as a society, almost instantaneous. If everyone stopped or Uber eating and door dashing and stopped going out to eat and grew gardens and did all this stuff, slowed down and ate wholesome foods and meals that worked for their health toward a better lifestyle, then our economic system, our consumerism is going to change behaviors because the market is speaking louder than the marketing. And when we can finally get to that point, then we will actually have real change, not just what an administration changes or not what they flipped the food pyramid upside down, basically is what they did. If you look at it, it's a right side triangle, but it's
Right.
basically in general, it says the basic same things. There's subtle things that are different, of course, but not by a tremendous amount. And the overall construct of nutrition is still eating whole foods, eating balance, moderation, managing your overall calorie intake, having lots of vegetables. That's going to lean proteins. That's going to keep you healthy long for as a human.
Right. Well, and it's doing it with a friend,
Yeah.
with a community,
Yep.
to change society, to ultimately change how we're doing everything, isn't it? We have to do it one step at a time. We got to get up to a change in the society to change the government, however we want to
Policies
look
and
at it.
rules, how the money's managed
Yep.
and where it moves and all. If you're a 6-year-old when they turn 19, it goes to the farmer's market all the time, has the most delicious, amazing home cooked meals that are just wonderful. You can't wait for them to invite you over for dinner because their food is amazing you feel good leaving that the space, the dinner and the environment and the social setting and all these things instead of where your 19-year-olds are now. It's like, hey, let's go to the gas station, get the big Polar Pop in the styrofoam cup thing for $1 or less. That should be $3 and the apple should be 25 cents.
Exactly. We need to stop
Buy the apple.
subsidizing. Yeah, stop subsidizing corn. Let's get the
And
fruits
sugar.
and
Just
vegetables.
sugar.
Exactly. No, I agree 100%. And I think another way that, there's a lot of us out there that are trying to get the word out, and we don't know it all. We know that.
No, I don't know it. I know the things that I know, and I know the things that I talk a lot about to people, but I'm only human. and there's only finite amount of information that I know. Even with our ever expanding AI, I've learned a lot lately.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
significant amount of information real quick in the last 2 years, but still, I still don't know at all. I'm not going to. I need to find reliable, credible, science backed, evidence based information that I can lean on to then form my decision to change my future with the choices that I make today for one day from now, 10 days from now, 2 years, 10 years from now.
100% agree. Well, and I think a lot of people can learn from you as well. You got a podcast, Driven for Health podcast, that, yeah, everybody needs to go listen to that as well.
I speak. It says it's for men's health, and that's the undertone of who I'm talking to. An out of shape Brian, a driven guy that's got a lot of kids and struggling the day to day life. That's the undertone of the message. But anything I talk about is about humans making better choices. I had a how to read a nutrition label. It's not binary. It's not male female. It's humans, right? This is how you look at a nutrition label and see. I think it was episode 74, if I remember correctly. I'm on 82, so I don't even remember.
You know how that feels.
There's certain episodes that people could listen to. The nutrition pyramid, inspect information, episodes 5 through 11. The strength pyramid, episodes 17 through 23, have a significant amount of testimonials, people sharing their real life experience sprinkled in throughout. Eating on the go, how to do that with some more recent episodes in the 70s. 5 healthy, high protein breakfasts that'll keep your weight in check. That was episode 74 or so. And same thing with the reading nutrition labels. Those were in the 70s. All three of those were very recent that I did that are super informational that allow for people to educate themselves on what the best decisions are for them. And at the end of the day, that's what I do is I'm advocating for my client, the person I'm working with, to make better choices for their health goals. It doesn't matter what, if they want to lose 10 pounds, 100 pounds, they want to run a marathon, they don't. The adherent underlying rules are things that we talked about. Having good nutritional education, understanding, and application, moving your body, drinking plenty of water, getting your sleep. These are basics that people just don't do. Episode 60, I talk about how 3 guys did the basics in my 100-day, I call it the Call to Rise 100-day fat loss challenge. They lost 98 pounds between the 3 of them in 100 days during the holidays, October, November,
That
December.
is
They worked with me
awesome.
and they all lost that weight. They were doing things subtly different from each other. So it wasn't this Brian comes in, I just follow his cookie cutter plate. No, I educate you and I help you understand so you make better choices because one person traveled a lot and had 2 kids. Another one, 2 kids, but stayed at a home. Another one didn't have any kids and he was a younger guy. But they were slowly dying because they were overweight, out of shape, and they needed some understanding on how to manage it better
And it's that
consistently.
simple. It can be that simple if you acknowledge it. Really. I love it. Well, Brian, it has been a pleasure. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but please catch Brian on Driven for Health podcast. And again, I'll post all of Brian's stuff on the blog. Again, really loved having you. I really appreciate it.
This is great. I appreciate our time together too.
Thank you. All right, everybody. As you know,
One more thing for anyone listening
go for
in,
it.
here's the takeaway. The question is, what is the next best thing I can do for myself to move toward the healthier version of myself? That's the question you always want to ask you because you have control of right now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's never comes. It's a figment of your imagination.
Agree
There you
100%.
go. There's the
I love
send
it.
off.
Love it. All right, guys. Find the attitude, keep the attitude. Go out living.